One of the most common problems people have with a foreign language is learning new words. If you want to successfully improve your vocabulary, you need to have some techniques that you use every time you find a new word. So here are some of the most useful tips. Tip 1. Don't try to learn too many new words at once. A common mistake students make is making long lists of words and then hoping to remember them. All that happens then is that the definitions, spelling, and meaning of the words often get mixed and confused. For most people, 10 new words at one time are more than enough. Practice them and use them as much as possible until you know them. Then find another 10 words to study. Tip 2. Keep a vocabulary list. If you make a short list of words you would like to learn, make sure that you keep it somewhere where you look at it often. A pocket-sized notebook that you always keep with you is a good way to start. You can also pin lists on the wall beside your bed or at your desk near the computer. Your list should be well organized. Here's an example. Some students also add a translation of the word in their own language. Although this can be useful at a lower level of English, the more advanced your English becomes, the more this is not advisable, as you will find that words are often not exact matches between languages. Tip 3. Use the words in a sentence. Research has proven that trying to learn a single word that is not in a sentence is much harder than seeing the word in context. The best advice is to write a sentence that is true about you and your life. For example, if you were trying to learn the word garden, then think about where you live. Do you have a garden? Have you seen a garden that you liked? Your example sentence should be about something personal to you. Tip 4. Use a dictionary. Although this is an obvious tip, you can make a dictionary work more effectively for you. When you find a word you don't know, get in the habit of looking it up. When you've looked up a new word, put a clear mark beside it. You can then look through your dictionary every now and again, and when you see a marked word, you can check whether you still remember it. If not, put it back on your list and write another sentence to help you. Tip 5. Test yourself. Free vocabulary tests are widely available on the internet. We have lots of exercises on our site, so there's always somewhere to practice. You should also ask a friend to test you. If you have followed tip 4, you can just give them your dictionary and ask them to choose a word that you have marked and ask you the meaning. Or they can give you the meaning and you tell them the word. Tip 6. Use the new word. When you learn a new word, you might find that suddenly you see the word in many places and it becomes easier to remember. However, you might also find that you don't see the word for a long time, by which time you've forgotten it. One way to help you keep the word in mind is to repeat it 5 or 6 times in a row, and do that for 2 or 3 days. You'll find that your brain can more easily remember the word. Tip 7. Use word families. If you learn a new word, for example, happy, then find all of the words in different families that are related, such as happily and happiness. That way you can quickly expand your vocabulary. Tip 8. Read widely. Reading is definitely the best way to learn new words. You get to see an example sentence and see how the word is spelled. It's also good practice to try to work out what the word may mean before using a dictionary, allowing you to develop useful skills for the future. Tip 9. Use a variety of ways to remember new words. You don't just have to write new words to remember them. Some words are better drawn as pictures or acted out like a play, and flashcards, flashcards with the word on one side and the definition on the other can also be very handy. Don't get stuck on only one way of learning. Tip 10. Find your vocabulary level. It can be helpful to find out roughly what your level of vocabulary is, so that you have some idea of words you should be aiming for. English vocabulary is split into different levels, and although these levels may have different names depending on which school, university, or website you visit, they should be about the same. On our site, we have 10 levels of vocabulary, as well as vocabulary practice tests, so you can find out your level and then examples of the words you should be focusing on.